Hi all, in the last video I was talking about 13 things I don't like about the BMW GS. And of course that video got some thumbs down, because how dare I to speak bad about the mighty GS. Well, those guys can be happy in this video, because this one is all about the 10 things I love about the GS, or the GS Adventure in my case. Oh, and a quick side note, I do this video a bit different. Normally you see me talking, sitting by the bike, etc. But because it's a very busy time right now, you will see videos of me riding the GS with the studio voiceover on top. Okay? And if you do like the video, make sure to give it a thumb up. It can really help small channels like me to get famous and to take over the world for world domination. Well, just like the damn video, okay? Without further ado, let's jump into this one. The top 10 list is in no particular order, however I would like to start with one thing that really stands out, and that is by far the handling. I've ridden and owned many bikes in my life, but nothing handles and corners that good as the BMW GS. It can feel a bit odd in the beginning when you go into a corner and you never ridden a GS before, but once you learn the bike a bit, nothing beats the GS here. Also with slow speed maneuvers, the bike is just perfectly balanced and very easy to ride. And you will notice you're gonna ride corners harder than you ever did before. The GS gives you a very stable and confident feeling whatever you do with it. The next thing I like is the simplicity of the buttons. You don't need to read a book to understand how everything works. Okay, I could not figure out first how to change the suspension settings, but I had to click the button twice. Everything is on the right place, nothing to complain there. Although I would love to see the bottoms illuminated for riding in the dark, like KTM. The next thing I really like, and this one could be very different in your opinion, but I really love the looks of the bike. Some people think it's the most ugly bike ever, and to them I say, check out the new BMW scooter, the CE02. Because I think we can all agree on that one, that thing is ugly as f***. But that's another video. Let's stick to the GS. I really love the color scheme also. I said to myself when I did not own a GS, if I ever buy one, it's gonna be the HP version. And voila, HP it is. I also like the extreme size of it. You're sitting on a real motorcycle or on a ship, whatever you wanna call it. But I wonder what you guys think. Is the GS a good looking bike or an ugly bike? I'm really curious, so let me know in the comments. Anyway, I really dig the looks. The next thing I like is the dashboard. It's really smooth. It's very easy to read, also with the sun on it. It's very clear to see what's going on in a split second. The dash is just superb, without any doubt. Some say it looks a bit outdated, but I don't see it that way. It looks good, but what's more important, it does what a dash needs to do. You can read very fast whatever you need to read on the dash without searching for it, and not even once I had a moment I could not read it because of the sun or so. So BMW, a very good job on that one. Another thing you just gotta love are the brakes. On every BMW I rode, the brakes were always fantastic. And also with the GS Adventure. It is a very big and heavy bike and is not easy to stop, but those brakes will stop you in a heartbeat. Also the feel of the brake is very good. It don't bite too much, it's very easy to control, and the rear brake is also very good. Most bikes I've owned, I was always wondering if the rear brake was doing anything at all. Yes, Honda Blackbird, I'm looking at you now. I've seen some reviews where people didn't like the brakes, but don't let those videos fool you, come on. The brakes are just awesome, period. The next thing I really love about the GS are of course the electronics. And the best part is, you don't feel it's there or it's working. The bike does it all for you without having to adjust stuff. It has cornering ABS, and to be honest, I really don't even know what it means. But it seems I can brake hard in the corners. But to be honest, I never felt the ABS kick in on all of my bikes. I just make sure I never need to brake that hard, and with traffic I always keep a safe distance all the time. But okay, the electronics of the bike are there, and there's really a lot in it. So many sensors, etc. that when something breaks down, you probably will read it on your dash, I assume. There is not a lot you can adjust with electronics, but that's just the part I like. I want to ride and not fiddle all the time with settings. So I let the bike it all decide for me. Also the auto modus on the suspension is just perfect. You don't need to set the preload when you pack the bike or ride with a passenger, etc. It just does that all automatically. And that's perfect. This next thing is really one of the best things of the bike, and the main reason why I bought it. It is really made for long journeys. You can pack it up with your panniers, rollbacks, whatever you want to strap on it, and you can sit the whole day in the saddle without feeling your ass turning into stone. The bike is just made for long distances. On every bike I have or have owned, the problem kicked in after a few hours of riding. So I was struggling with sheepskin, etc. to make it a little bit more comfortable. On the GS, I can sit 8 hours on it without getting insane. And I can easily strap all kinds of stuff on it, because packing light is not my strongest point. But on the GS, it's easy to get on. It just makes the bike damn heavy when standing still. Once the wheels are rolling, it's just a light bike. Next thing I like about the GS is the third-party stuff you can buy for it. No, I don't mean Wanderleague GS, guys. Try to look at another brand once in a while, okay? This bike is so long in production and has been so long the #1 selling adventure bike, meaning there is really nothing what you cannot buy for the bike. Everything, whatever you need or want, is made for the GS by some seller, so you can personalize your GS the way you want it. This next thing I like about the GS is the side stand. Well, I still must get used to it, that you have to bring it down between your shift lever and your foot peg, and even after 15,000 kilometers, I still find it a bit odd. But what I like about it is the angle of the bike when it's standing on this side stand. It's the perfect angle, because if it was a little bit shorter, it was really hard to get it straight up again, because of the weight, of course. And if it was a little bit longer, it could fall over when the ground is a bit tilted up. With my Africa Twin, I have sometimes really problems to park the bike when the ground is not flat. But with the GS, it's almost never a problem. And it seems it's strong enough to stand on the bike with all the stuff packed to it. It's maybe a small thing, a side stand, but trust me, on the Africa Twin, it was giving me headaches. And the last thing I like about the bike is the cruise control. Okay, I wish it had like the KTM 1219, the adaptive cruise control, so it controls your speed when you're getting closer to a car. The GS don't have it, but of course that will be just a matter of time. But cruise control is just perfect on long rides or trips. I use it a lot, and also for the parts with radar speed sections. We have them a lot here in Europe. It's easy to control and it's easy to cancel it. I don't know if you knew this, by the way, but there are 4 ways to cancel the cruise control. Yeah, you can of course brake, but I would not suggest that. But you can also touch the clutch. It will also cancel then, and that's what I use most of the time. You can also crank the throttle the opposite way. You can move it like 1-2 mm forward, and it will also cancel the cruise control. That's what I also use sometimes. And of course you can move the cruise control switch to off, but that's not the best way to cancel it, because it will reset the speed you had in your memory. If you are curious about the 13 things I don't like about the GS, you can click in the link popping up in 3, 2, 1, poof. And in the next video I will tell you for who the GS or GSA is made, and if you should buy one if you're thinking about it. I am 100% sure I can give you some good feedback to make your choice more clear if you should buy a GS or not. Thanks for watching, and remember, ride safe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.